When most consulting and service firms ask about YouTube, they're really asking one thing. What's the ROI? Not views, not subscribers, not engagement, return on investment. And if you're running a real business with real payroll, real overhead, and real expectations, that is exactly the right question to ask. So let's talk about the real ROI of YouTube for consulting and service firms. Not the hype, not the creator stories, not the overnight success narratives, just the business reality. Most marketing ROI conversations are already frustrating. Paid ads fluctuate, SEO takes time, referrals are unpredictable. So when YouTube enters the conversation, it often feels like another thing that might work eventually, and that skepticism is healthy, but the mistake is trying to measure YouTube the same way you measure short-term campaigns. So let's start by clearing something up. YouTube ROI is not views turning directly into clients, and it's not subscribers converting into revenue, and it's certainly not viral videos driving instant sales. If that's what you're expecting, YouTube is going to disappoint you. And for many businesses, that's where the confusion begins. The real role YouTube plays for consulting and service firms is very specific. It does three things extremely well. It builds trust at scale, it improves lead quality quite dramatically, and it reduces sales friction. That is the ROI, not attention. At your stage of business, people don't buy information. They buy confidence. Confidence that you understand their situation. Confidence that you've seen this before, and confidence that you are the right guide. Most marketing channels don't communicate that very well. Video does, and long-form video does it best. Here's what firms notice once YouTube is working properly. Prospects show up more informed and more aligned and more realistic. They also show up less price sensitive. They don't need to be convinced that you know what you're doing. They've already decided that, and that changes the entire sales dynamic. Here's where the ROI becomes very real. Think about how much time your team spends explaining what you do, clarifying how you think, resetting expectations, handling poor fit inquiries. All of that time has a cost. YouTube quietly absorbs that cost over time. Remember, most marketing expires. Ads stop running, traffic stops, campaigns end, and momentum fades. YouTube actually compounds. A strong video recorded just once can be found in search, can be watched months or even years later. It can be shared internally by prospects. It can be referenced before a sales call. That's a very different return profile. Now, an important reality check. YouTube ROI is delayed, not because it doesn't work, but because trust takes time. And early on, it feels quiet. But once momentum builds, it becomes stable, and stability is what most service businesses are actually missing. If you view YouTube as content creation, it is going to feel expensive. But if you view it as infrastructure, a trust-building system that supports sales, well, then the math changes, especially when you compare it to things like rising ad costs, inconsistent referrals, or repeated sales efforts. This really matters for consulting and service firms. They're going to benefit the most because compared to some product businesses, you sell judgment and experience and perspective. And those things don't show up well in ads or landing pages. They do show up in conversation, and YouTube lets that conversation happen before the call. Over time, firms tend to notice that YouTube will improve inbound lead quality, really reduce tire kickers and shorten sales cycles, and support premium pricing. Not dramatically and not overnight, but consistently. And here's the critical part. YouTube ROI doesn't come from posting videos. It comes from intentional positioning, clear topics, clear audience, clear role in the buyer journey. Without that, YouTube just becomes noise, but with it, it becomes leverage. You don't need daily uploads, endless shorts, constant activity. A focused library of long-form videos that answer real buyer questions is far more effective, especially for high-trust services. Now, most firms evaluate YouTube based on what they see publicly. Creators, influencers, entertainment. They don't see the private side, the firms quietly using YouTube to pre-qualify and to educate and to filter leads before a conversation ever happens. That's where ROI lives. Think about it like this. If YouTube saves time in sales and improves lead quality and builds trust while you're not even present, then it's doing its job. Everything else is secondary. To be fair though, YouTube is not the right move for every business. If you don't sell trust and you don't rely on expertise or you don't want a long-term asset, there may be better options. That honestly matters. So if you're curious about what YouTube ROI could realistically look like for your firm, there's a link in the description box to book a short call with me. No selling, no pressure, just a clear, practical conversation about whether building a YouTube lead engine would actually make sense for you. And if it wouldn't, well, I'll tell you that too. The real ROI of YouTube isn't measured in views and subscribers. It's measured in clarity, trust, and better conversations. For the right consulting and service firms, that return compounds quietly and powerfully. Thanks for watching. Check out one of these helpful videos next, and I'll see you there.